ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वर्स 123 मायां तु प्रकृतिं विद्यात् मायिनं तु महेश्वरम् अस्यावयवभूतैस्तु व्याप्तं सर्वमिदं जगत्. So Mayam tu Prakritim Vidyat. This is a statement from Shvetashvatar Upanishad and very, very well known. In fact, the concept of Maya, etc., has a basis in Upanishad, in the Veda, that we can understand from this quotation, from this mantra rather. So Mayam tu Prakritim Vidyat. Prakritim means a material cause. So Maya is a material cause, and well, what kind of a material cause it is? It is Parinami Upadana Karanam. So Maya is a Parinami Upadana Karanam, and sometimes we say Brahman also is a Upadana Karanam, but Brahman is a basically Vivartopadana Karanam. So either way, either Brahman or Maya is a material cause, but Brahman basically is a Vivartopadana Karanam. And then we said also that whatever provides the name and form is a Parinami Upadana Karanam, and whatever provides existence is a Vivartopadana Karanam. And therefore, Shvetashvatar Upanishad says, well, Maya is a Parinami Upadana Karanam of this universe. Yes, because of Maya, all the names and forms are there. And existence of every name and form is Brahman. And name and form is Maya, existence is Brahman. Anyway, then who is Ishvara? Mainam tu Maheshwaram. So Ishvara is not other than this, none other than, well, this Brahman, Chaitanyam, well, reflected in a Maya. Brahma Pratibimbita Chaitanyam is a Ishvara. And that's how Pratibimbita Chaitanya, Chidabhasa is a Ishvara. So definitely it requires three things. The medium you require, and that is, medium is a Maya. And then, well, consciousness, original also is required, because otherwise reflection is not possible. And therefore, consciousness also is required. That is the second thing. And third thing is that reflection. So all the three things together is a Ishvara basically. And this consciousness is never away from this reflecting medium called Maya, or never away from the reflection also. And that is even in our case also. You see, my reflection in the mirror is there in the mirror, but of course I am also there in nearby. I go to the class, go to the classroom, and my reflection remains in this mirror. That won't be possible, right? So wherever the reflection is, there the original is, basically. But in case of consciousness, of course, this Brahman, basically it is all pervading, and therefore wherever this Maya is there itself the consciousness is there, and therefore reflection also is there. Anyway, but Ishvara is is a conglomerate of all these three, basically. But we can say, for simplification, sometimes they say this Chidabhasa alone, this Maya Pratibimbita Chaitanya, this Pratibimbita Chaitanyam or Chidabhasa is a Ishvara. And so both the things are included, you have to consider that way. Other two, even though Pratibimbita Chaitanya has been told, but you have to include the reflecting medium and you have to include the original also. Okay, this is Ishvara, Maya Pratibimbita Chaitanya. That's one type of Chidabhasa. What about Jiva? Well, Jiva also is a reflected consciousness, but basically reflected in an individual medium, micro medium. And so macro medium reflection is Ishvara, micro medium reflection is a Jiva. So even though both are reflected, both are basically Chidabhasa, but since both are reflected in a different, in two different mediums, micro and macro, so there is a subtle difference between these two Chidabhasa. So that is not said here in this particular shloka by Vidyaranya, but let's take that also, that portion. So what is that difference? So that has already been discussed in the first chapter of a Pancadasi. Then even though Jiva also is a Chidabhasa, Ishvara also is a Chidabhasa, but there is a difference. That difference has been discussed by Vidyaranya in the first chapter of a Pancadasi, which I am referring here also. So Jiva, who is basically a Chidabhasa or a reflected consciousness in a micro medium, is a slave of the medium. So we can't call it as a medium dasa or media dasa also. Social media dasa. Jiva is a dasa of a media also. It is not a problem. It is a dasa of a media and dasa of a medium, both. And so he is bound by this very medium in which he is reflected. Whereas Ishvara, who is reflected in the macro medium, that is Maya, is not a media dasa or a medium dasa. So basically he is a medium Swami. And so this is a big difference between the two. So even though both are reflections, both are Chidabhasa, one is dasa, other is a Swami. And so Jivatma becomes dasa and Paramatma is a Swami, Ishvara. So both are belonging to this reflection only, and therefore this either dasa or Swami, it belongs to Chidabhasa only. And therefore, basically, the original consciousness, just consciousness, this original consciousness, anyway, consciousness, pure consciousness, okay? So, this pure consciousness is neither dasa nor Swami. Chidabhasa is a Swami. Ishvara is a macro medium, he reflected in the macro medium called Maya. And in a micro medium, this consciousness get reflected is a dasa. But ultimately, that is Chidabhasa only. So either Chidabhasa is a Swami or dasa. But basically the consciousness itself is neither dasa nor Swami. It's Vilakshana. This is just a side point which I referred here, which has been discussed in the first chapter of Pancadasi. We discussed that in detail also. Anyway, and so that is, how can you call it is a, Swami? That is because it says Mai here. So, Mayam to Prakritam Vidya, Mayinam to Maheshwaram. So, Mayi means, actually word is Mayin. Mayin means Maya Asya Asti Iti Mayi. So, Ishvara is a one, to whom this Maya belongs. So, Maya belongs to Ishvara. And therefore, basically, Ishvara is a Swami of a Maya. Ishvara is a Swami and Maya is a Dasa for that. So, word Mayi itself is indicating the Ishvara is a master of this reflecting medium called Maya. And so Mayinam means Maya Pratibimbita Chaitanya. Maya Swami you can call. And it is not only reflected, it happens to be a master. And also, another word also is there in Shvetashvetar, which has been referred here also, Maheshwaram. So a title Maheshwara, etc., definitely indicates it's a great Lord, means, definitely he is a Swami also. And it says further, Idam Sarvam Jagat Vyaptam. This entire universe is pervaded by this Ishvara, who is reflecting in the Maya. This entire universe is pervaded by Ishvara. Because the Pratibimbit Chaitanyam pervades the whole universe. And why it pervades? Because basically everything in the creation is a product of Maya. And therefore Maya Pratibimbita Chaitanyam pervades the whole creation, because the whole creation is Maya. That is the medium for consciousness to be reflected. And therefore, that Ishvara, who is a reflected consciousness in Maya, is basically pervading the entire universe. So Ishvara pervades the entire universe. That's how it is. So Ishvara basically, the Pratibimbita Chaitanyam obtaining in this every individual is called Jiva. and Ishvara alone obtains in all individual as the Jiva, because Ishvara pervades entire universe, and entire universe is a Maya, and basically consciousness reflected in the Maya, that is in the entire universe, is Ishvara. So whatever the reflections are there in every medium is basically Ishvara alone, because it pervades everything. And therefore, but every individual reflection we call it Jiva. So we say, well, Ishvara alone is basically obtaining as a Jiva in every particular medium, every subtle body, etc. And that is what Bhagavan said in 7th chapter, Jiva Bhutam Mahabaho Yedam Dharyate Jagat. So basically, Bhagavan says, I alone appear in every individual as a Jiva, the individual reflection. So individual reflections are basically called avayavas, parts of total reflection. So that is what has been told by Vidyaranya Swami here, that asya avayava bhutaihi tu sarvamidam vyaptam jagat. Asya avayavaihi, asya ishvarasya, of this Ishvara alone, which is total, which is samashti, all these are avayavas. All the jivas are nothing but the parts of this total reflection. So every individual reflection is included in the total reflection, definitely. And so this is what we have to understand. So all the jivas are basically part of total reflection. So, and asya means samashti pratibimbasya ishvarasya avaya bhutaihi jivaihi idam jagat sarvam vyaptam. So, well, this is what we have to understand. The world is, well, full of individual reflections which are part of total reflection, Ishvara. Now let's go to verse number 124. Iti shrutyanusarena nyayo nirnaya ishvare tatha satya virodasyat sthavarante shavadinam. So here Vidyaranya has indirect advice to all the other systems of philosophy, including the Nyaya and Yoga philosophy. Because other than the Vedantin, the other two philosophers, other two systems of philosophy talk about Ishvara. That is Yoga and Nyaya. Sankhyas don't believe in Ishvara. Our older brothers, Purvamimamsakas don't believe in Ishvara. And Vaisheshika don't believe in Ishvara. And therefore, out of 6 Astika systems of philosophy, 3 systems believe in Ishvara, 3 systems do not believe in Ishvara. We have discussed that thing. Anyway, so now we are advising to our other two people, other two philosophers who believe in Ishvara. We say that we give some advice to them. What is that advice? Because, see, they talk about Ishvara, but mistake they commit is they try to establish Ishvara purely on the basis of logic. And so a Nyaya philosopher basically proudly claims that, I have got enough logic to establish Ishvara. And he gives his own arguments also. And Vedantins accept Ishvara, alright, but he disagrees basically with the Nyaya philosopher. And Vedantin points out that Ishvara exists, but you can never claim to prove Ishvara through pure logic. So if you try to prove Ishvara through basically pure logic, the ordinary people may accept your logic, and this logic, I will tell you that logic, and it goes into your mouth so easily, and you will feel that, wow, what a great logic that Ishvara is there. So we bring this thing. This is creation. We say like that. This is creation. Okay. Do you see the creator of this? Then you have to say no. You have not seen before. You are not seeing now. Perhaps you won't see in the future also. And therefore, if you don't see at any time, and perhaps in our circle right now, nobody will definitely know the creator of this. Right? So, shall we say that there is no creator of this? No, Swamiji, we can't say. There is a creator. We don't see, but still there is a creator. Well, that is the logic. So this whole creation, this whole world is a creation. And therefore, just as you can't see the creator and you won't see in future also, but still you have to believe that there is a creator of this particular thing. Same way the world also is a creation. And therefore, there must be a creator, whether you come across or not. And therefore, Ishvara is proved as a creator of the universe. It is very easily proved. This is this is what kind of a logic? What this is a creation I can accept because I know that this thing has been created somewhere in some factory or anywhere. But how do you say this world is a creation? How do you say? How do you say? Did you see that the world was created and you are outside of that and you have seen it? So very first thing is gone. World is a creation, itself cannot be proven. I would go by Darwin or any other fellow. Really. I would go by that person who says that this is all, what they call the theory of a natural selection or something. Or some other theory, whatever theory. What are there? There's some unified field theory and this theory and that theory. I will go by that. I would say that this is not a systematic creation. It has just evolved. The nature has just evolved by itself. And if I say like that, then who is a creator? That there is no creator. The nature itself evolves into that systematic creation. And therefore there is no creator. There is no Ishvara. Gone. Gone. So never try. I have seen people do several arguments to prove Ishvara. All are wrong. One who tries to prove Ishvara also wrong, and one who argues against that also is wrong. Both are wrong. Why? I am going to discuss that. Anyway, so basically Vedantin says you cannot convince me. Other ordinary people will be convinced and you will tell that this is how. Ghata is a creation, pot is a creation, and therefore there is a pot maker. Same way this world is like a pot, and therefore there is a creator of the world, and therefore Ishvara is there. This logic is not suitable to me. First prove that like pot, the world is also a creator. First prove that. Then I will accept the creator. That itself cannot, nobody can prove. Nobody can prove that world is a creation. Nobody can prove. Could you follow? And therefore, anyway, so you cannot, Vedantin says, you cannot fool me. I will find out logical fallacies in your logical proof of Ishvara, and therefore Ishvara cannot be logically established, and that is our contention. And this thing, I'm just give you a reference. This thing we had, in the Gujarati class, I discussed in the Brahma Sutra class, when we were discussing, this is just for reference purpose I am telling you. When we discussed the second sutra, Janmadhyasya Yatah, Tathato Brahma Jignasa, and then second sutra is Janmadhyasya Yatah. There, Janmadhyasya Yatah, from which the whole the Janmasthiti Bhanga, the creation and the sustenance and then dissolution of this world takes place. And that is what the Brahman is. That is what the Ishvara is. That is how the sutra is actually. There, these Nayayika philosophers give three arguments, three logical arguments in order to prove Ishvara. And Bhashyakara does the khandanam of all the three arguments, and that is there in that Bhashya of Janmadhyasya Yatah Sutra. Anyway, so the Nyaya philosopher basically tries to arrive at, he tries to prove this Ishvara through first three steps of reasoning, and Bhashyakara has shown the fallacy in each step. And perhaps while giving a summary, I may again bring back to that thing, and I may perhaps refer to that, all the three fallacies in arguments of Nayayika to prove the Ishvara. We'll see that at the end of this chapter. Anyway, so what I want to say is it is not going to work. Ishvara cannot be proved logically. We'll see why it cannot be proved logically. Okay, then what is our claim? We say, for Ishvara the primary pramanam is Shruti. The main pramanam, the main proof for the existence. Pramanam means a proof for existence. So main pramanam, the proof for existence for Ishvara is Shruti. And having taken Shruti as a primary pramanam, and thereafter we are able to borrow logic of a Nayayika as a support to the Shruti pramanam. So as a supporting logic, it is acceptable to Vedantin. Supporting logic, it is acceptable. Nayayika's logic is acceptable to us as a supporting, not as a primary means, not as a proving logic. There are two types of logic. One is a proving logic, one is a supporting logic. This proving logic is called Nishchayaka Yukti in Sanskritam. Nishchayaka Yukti. Yukti means a logic. Nishchayaka means a proving logic. Proving. So supporting logic is called Sambhavaka Yukti. So basically we'll accept logic of a Nayayika as a supporting. But basically Pramanam for existence of Ishvara is a Shruti. Nobody can say. So Vidyaranya says, iti Shruti anusarena, taking this Shruti Vakyam mentioned above. Well, which Shruti Vakyam? Shruti mentioned in verse 123 that Mayam tu Prakritim Vidyat, Mainam tu Maheshwaram, etc. Well, that Shruti Pramana is there. Maheshwara is there, who is basically a Swami of this Maya, and from taking help of this Maya he creates, etc. Well, so that way, for Ishvara there is a Pramana, who as a creator, there is a Pramana in Shrita Shvatara in every place, of course. Tasmad va etasmad atmanaha akasha sambhutaha, akashat vayu, etc. There also it is from Brahman alone everything has come, etc. So definitely that is, so Shruti Pramana is there in order to establish Ishvara as a creator of the universe. So iti Shruti anusarena Ishvara nirnayaha mayam tu prakritim vidyat. Well, that this Shruti, Shvetashvatara Upanishad itself is a pramana is a proof, let us say, for the existence of Ishvara. What kind of Ishvara? Creator of the universe. So one has to assert the existence of Ishvara, according to the Shruti, not by logic. So, and that alone is a proper. So here Vidyaranya says, iti Shruti anusarena Nyayaha. Nyayaha means a logic. Nyayaha means it is proper. Like that. Nyayaha word, meaning of the word Nyayaha is equal to proper. Nyayaha, logic. This is Tarkaha. This is so iti Shruti anusarena Nyayaha. It is proper that we should go by according to the Shruti. And the Shruti regarding what? Nirnaya Ishvare. Ishvare nirnayaha kartavyaha Shruti anusarena. Regarding Ishvara, Ishvara means is a Vishaya Saptami. With regards to Ishvara, Ishvara Vishaya, Nirnayaha, well, one has to ascertain regarding Ishvara, the Nirnaya has to be done, well, Shruti Anusarena, by taking Shruti Pramana into consideration, not by logic. Yes, then as logic has to be taken as a supporting logic, we call it as a Sambhavaka Yukti. But why do you say that is proper? Why all the time Shruti? Why not logically we can establish Ishvara? Okay, let's discuss this part now. See, Tarka or a logic is always a Paurushaya Vishaya. So, and Ishvara comes under Apaurushaya Vishaya. So why do we say like that? Because when we talked about the cause of creation, we faced a very, very subtle problem which many people missed out. But of course, science comes to our help. And that is time and space. So time and space also should be understood as a part of the creation. And it's an integral part of creation. Time and space are not outside creation. They are integral part, intertwined part of the creation. And that's how Einstein's modern theory, of course, has proved that, well, you can never study time and space separate from the creation. Therefore, whenever we, talk about the cause of the creation, we are entering into a very difficult, field. Anyway, so we are studying the cause of this time and space because we are studying the cause of creation. But time and space itself are also the part of creation, and therefore we are studying the cause of time and space. Could you follow? Because we are studying basically creation, and time and space is part of creation. Therefore we are all trying to find out the cause of even time and space. And then because time and space are part of creation, and therefore cause of creation basically means cause of time and space. That means we are talking about the cause which existed before Well, the arrival of time and space. Cause will be first, then creation comes out. Any cause, this is a definition given by Naiyayika, we accept. We accept. Karya niyata purvavarti karana. What is first? Pot is first or clay is first? You know very well. Clay exists first. Always cause will be there. Then from there the effect comes out. So, time and space are a part of creation. Creation. You are trying to find the cause of creation, Ishvara. So, you are trying to find the cause of time and space. Means that Ishvara, the cause, must exist before even time and space appears. This is clear? Before time and space comes. And therefore, definitely, whereas logic can work only within time and space. Because any logic basically is based on observation. Simple thing. Logic is based on observation, certain data collection within time and space. And therefore, logic can never transcend time and space. And Ishvara happens to be beyond time and space. Ishvara is the one which transcends time and space, being the cause of time and space. And therefore, the logic which works in the field of time and space cannot find out, cannot prove Ishvara which is transcending time and space. This is simplest argument Vedanti has to keep in mind. Simplest. And you can save your time and tongue, both. Save your time and tongue. Whenever people meet, they fight. They have a bloody battle. But one is trying to prove there is no Ishvara. Other is trying to prove there is Ishvara. And both are foolish. Both are foolish because they are trying to find out. They are trying to give a reason for something which is beyond logic, which is beyond tarka, which is beyond time and space. Any tarka, a reasoning used by a scientist or reasoning used by you, it is within time and space. Like, I tell you, our standard example, Anumanam, right? Anumanam is tarka, reasoning. And you prove that there is a fire on the hillock. And then for that you require what? How do you prove it? Oh, we require, Swamiji, certain data. We should see the smoke there and all this, we should see the smoke. And then there should be a corollary in my mind. There is an invariable concomitance that, wherever there is a smoke, there is fire. And for that I have to see at several places in the kitchen and all that. I already know that where the smoke and fire, coexistence of both. And all this gives you a data. To prove what? To prove fire on hillock. But all the data which you have gathered is within time and space. All your examples, invariable concomitants, and the smoke which you are seeing, all within time and space. Could you follow? No logic is beyond time and space. And therefore, if you want to prove logically something which transcends time and space, which is the cause of time and space, you will be utter failure. Utter failure. And therefore, that's how Vedanti gets a good sleep. They don't bother. They don't bother at all. If somebody, before just he goes to bed, suppose somebody comes, an Astika comes, and vehemently argues also. Gusto, very much, argue. No, there is no Ishvara, this and that. You people are the agent of Ishvara. All these fellows with this kind of color clothes, they are all agents. And they are trying to prove Ishvara here and there. But there is no Ishvara at all. If there is a Ishvara, tsunami cannot be there, and that cannot be there, and this cannot be there. And Vedantin says, okay, do you want a cup of coffee or tea? No, I don't want. Okay, go to sleep. I also want to go to sleep. And the height of the thing, the Taittiriya Upanishad has given $1 billion statement. Says, if you say there is no Ishvara, means you are not there. And try to prove you are not there. You need not prove Ishvara is not there. Try to prove you are not there. And that fellow has become mad. Really. He should be admitted to some hospital because the whole night he was working. I am not there. I am not there. Right? Consciousness is Ishvara, which is self-revealing. Anything which is self-revealing, self-existence, how are you going to negate? How are you going to negate whose nature is existence? If you negate means what? It becomes non-existent. But whose nature is existence, how are you going to negate? And which is self-revealing, how are you going to negate? One thing in the creation can never be negated, and that is you, or that is Brahman, or that is Ishvara. You can never negate. Never negate, that is told beautifully in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Asadva idam, what is that? Santamenam tato viduriti. I forgot that sentence, the complete sentence. Asanneva sa bhavati, asad brahmeti veda ched, santamenam tato viduriti, etc., etc. Asanneva sa bhavati, asad brahmeti veda ched. One says that Brahman is asat, there is no Ishvara at all. Asanneva sa bhavati. He becomes non-existence. He is trying to prove that there is no Ishvara. In the process, he becomes non-existent. I mean, you cannot prove Ishvara is non-existent. Anyway, this is by the way. We are not going too far. We are just saying Ishvara can never be proven by logic. And everywhere I find in United States also. In fact, when I came in November, I confronted with a small group here of children. And some of your youngsters, I think 15 to 18 years old, they say one question. And because this is what they face. This is what they face outside in their schools and other places. And I had to literally, show so many reasons to prove Ishvara. And they are against. So this is what I am saying is anywhere, especially these circles, the spiritual circles and religious circles, well, this discussion is there. Ishvara is not there. Someone says Ishvara is there. One who says Ishvara is not there, he will give some, he will show certain incidents. Well, if Ishvara is there, how can COVID can happen? This kind of a thing, this kind of a foolishness you find in this circles. Ishvara is basically, and that is how in Mandukya, Yachat Trikalatitam Tadapi Omkara Eva, Yachat Trikalatitam, which is beyond time. Well, then what is beyond time can never be proven by logic. That's all. A logic needs observation. Logic needs a data. The data, observation, everything comes from this within creation, which is within time and space. And therefore, what is the cause of time and space? Regarding that, no logic is going to work. Anyway, so this is, Ishvara is not a matter of a discussion for a physicist. Ishvara is a matter of a discussion for a metaphysicist. And therefore, using tarka for Ishvara is like using eyes for hearing a sound. Or using tarka for Ishvara is like using your ears to see a particular color. It is never going to work. It is never going to work. Anyway, I also got excited because, I have faced so much. I am telling you. And so I become so happy now by Vidyaranya's argument. And therefore, anyway, Vidyaranya is our father, And so father is basically, protecting us. That, bete, you please go and do argument like this. That you argue that Ishvara is not the matter of argument. That's all. Anyway, Vidyaranya says, iti shruti anusarena nirnayaha kartavyaha. You have to add that kartavyaha. So if you do that, it means you are basically putting hand at the right place. If you go by shruti, you are putting hand at the right place. And tatha sati, if it is done that way, using shruti pramana, well, then because being a paurusheya vishaya, well, avirodha syat, there will be no contradiction, no problem. And so, so not only that, we will get the real definition of Ishvara, we will be to accommodate, so two advantages. If you go by Shruti, you will conclude you will get a real definition of Ishvara, first advantage. And second advantage is, you will not fight to anybody. You will not fight to anybody, you will accommodate everybody. You will not be perturbed by anybody. Sometimes you accept others because you don't have any arguments, and therefore you just accept. Okay, you are also right and I am also right. This is not that kind of a pajama logic. That is not going to work. We accommodate. We really accommodate. That what he says, what Shaiva says, what Vaishnava says, what Hiranyagarbha says, that Hiranyagarbha is Ishvara and that is Ishvara and this is Ishvara. Well, no problem at all. Because Ishvara is everything. And therefore, basically, when someone says this is Ishvara, that is their standpoint. It's a point of view. We have got a view. They have a point of view. This is a big thing. Vedantins have a view of Ishvara. And these people who have not gone through Shruti. Well, we are basically, we are warning them that definitely you will have a quarrel. So far as this subject matter is concerned, you will have a quarrel. And this quarrel is a very serious issue. You don't know. If you have some faith in a particular God, and if someone says and talks rubbish about that God, something, I tell you, you will be shattered. It is not simple thing. Because a religious person is a core person. Understand that. He is a core person. He has, and as much, you are related to everybody in this creation. Maybe few people. But to Ishvara, you have a very basic relationship. And if somebody comes and says something rubbish about the Ishvara, your relation, your Shraddha to that God gets shattered. You are shattered. It is not a simple thing. It is a very serious issue. Anyway, so regarding Ishvara, Shruti Anusarena Nirnaya Kartavya. Regarding Ishvara Vishay, Nirnaya Shruti Anusarena Kartavya, Tatha Sati Avirodha Syat. Tatha Sati means if you do like that, well, definitely Avirodha Syat, there will not be any contradiction. You will be accommodated. You will be able to accommodate everyone, every form of Ishvara. Because ultimately all forms are forms of Ishvara. And therefore someone says that this particular form is a form of Ishvara. Hiranyagarbha or a Virat or something else, Shiva, Vishnu, etc. or Ganapati or Shakti. Well, we say we don't worry at all. All are basically forms of Ishvara. So any given form in which you have a Shraddha and you say that is Ishvara, well, we accept that is also Ishvara. And that's how Hindus are. People say Hindus are, they don't have they don't have any glory or any dignity regarding themselves. Hindus go to everywhere. Hindus go to Velangani church also in Tamil Nadu. Hindus go to that Ajmer Sharif. That Dargah is there of a Muslim. So many Hindus go to Ajmer. That's in Rajasthan. So many Hindus go. And they have them some belief also. They will say, if something happens to my son gets a good, wife, etc., or my son gets a good, daughter or something. Well, I will put a what called chaddar or what is that? Yeah, bed sheet kind of a thing. Well, I will come here and put that thing on, cover this dargah with this. And people go because so Hindus go to everywhere. Because somehow we are able to accommodate. Yes, well, that is also issue. That is also issue. We are able to accommodate that. Because ultimately all our roots are in a Veda only. Whether you know word Veda or you don't know how many Vedas are there. There is one person who has taken an interview of some college students, and Hindus especially. And then he asked how many Vedas are there, what is the name of a wife of a Lord Rama. All questions wrong. All answers were wrong. And what is the mother of a Rama, etc. So people say something Sita and something like that. So this college boys, if you hear their answers, you feel that what is the thing they don't know anything. But somehow this thing is there. Somehow that any form of any believer in which he has a Shraddha that this is Ishvara, we are able to accept. We don't have any problem with that. Because ultimately Veda says everything is Ishvara. So Mayam tu Prakritim Vidyat, Mayinam tu Maheshwaram. Anyway, so this is all inclusive definition of Ishvara that we have. And any other definition will definitely end up in basically in a theology, basically. And that's how they become fanatic, and they will, they take to conversion also. Because everybody will definitely should accept Christ only as a Ishvara, and that's how they try to convert into Christianity and all this. So they become fanatic. They cannot avoid that, because tolerance cannot be there with a finite concept of the God. If you believe in a finite Ishvara, means you have a finite concept of the God, you cannot be tolerant. Definitely, you will fight for proving that your God is the God. Anyway, and so we are able to accommodate them. Vidyaranya says Sthavaranta Ishavadinam Avirodha. We'll have an agreement with all the other systems. And what type of system? Sthavaranta Ishavadinam, who are worshipping even a plant. Sthavara, I have yesterday itself I told you, who are worshipping even a plant as a Bhagavan, who are worshipping ant as a Bhagavan, who are worshipping elephant, monkey, snake, etc. as a Bhagavan, right? Here in United States only. You have a monkey god? Yeah, are you Hindu? Yeah. How many gods you have? You have monkey god and this elephant god and ant god and snake god. And so our children are not able to answer. They feel really embarrassed. Anyway, so even with all these forms, etc., we don't quarrel if they say like that. We can accommodate all, because it's a fact that the snake is a god and that is god and this is god. And so they cannot accommodate us, but we accommodate them. Tatha satya virodhasyat. So if you don't, there is a sandhi. If you don't do properly sandhi vichcheda, there will be problem. See, tatha satya virodhasyat. So there virodha, contradiction with regard to truth. So there will be a contradiction regard to truth. What is this? So tatha satya virodha is not correct. Tatha sati avirodha. This is yan sandhi. And so tatha sati avirodha syat. So don't think satya virodha. It is sati. And then sati goes with tatha. Tatha sati means if this is so, like that. That's the meaning. Tatha sati means if this is so. Means if you accept Shruti Pramana regarding the proof for the existence of Ishvara or as a creator of universe, etc., then avirodha syat. There will not be any contradiction to the other systems of philosophy. Ultimately, you will be able to accommodate all other systems of philosophy which we have discussed, right, previously. All minor philosophies, they all will be accommodated. Philosophers will be accommodated. Anyway, and this Thavaranta Ishavadinam, etc., and this we have already seen in verse number 121. Antaryaminam Arabhya Sthavaranta Ishavadinah. Already we have seen that. So, and Sthavara means even people worship the plants, and someday one lady actually came, and she said that my all family members have gone to a particular village, and for what? So she said, in that some Tanjavur district somewhere, and she said that we get some Kula Devata basically worship, and every year we go there, and it is a big function, and then we offer food to the entire village, etc. Means it's such a big function. And then Swami asked that, what is this Kula Devata? He said one tree, particular tree. That is a Kula Devata. And there is a convention also that the pujas of worship of that tree is done by males only. Female will be in the home only, and they will prepare the Naivedyam, and then the males go, and then they worship this particular tree. So Sthavara, I don't know how, so Vidyaranya also mentions that Sthavara means this Vruksha, etc. also. So somebody says Vruksha, etc. is a Devata, etc. They believe in that way also. That is correct. Now continuing. Maya cheyam tamo rupa tapaniye tadiranaat anubhutim tatramanam pratijagnyeshu tisvayam. So your favorite topic is now coming. So Ishvara has been defined as a Maya Pratibimbita Chaitanyam, And Maya has been introduced through Shvetashvatara Shruti, Mayam tu Prakritim Vidyat, etc. Now comes this basic question. What is this Maya? So, this is one of the biggest question Vedantic student will never be tired of this question. Every time this question will be there. After 15 years also, and after thorough study also. Second chapter we studied, and in Tattvabodha we studied, and still today you will feel that I am so fresh to study this Maya. So basically, as if previously we have not touched that topic. You are feeling that, I know. So basically, now, so Vidyaranya also knows that all these people will forget. So he is going to discuss this particular topic of Maya in 26 verses. And don't think that Swamiji is going to be repetition. No, this is something else. So this is another way of looking at a Maya. And for the proof of existence of Maya is direct for everyone. He is going to talk like that, based on a Shruti only. So, because Maya is basically, it's a very confusing topic. And, at macro level, and at a micro level, the same Maya, we call it as the Karana Shariram, etc., Avidya, etc. Anyway, so many people understand Maya, but Karana Shariram, it is not clear. Somebody says, well, Brahman, I know Brahman, but this Maya, I can't understand. And Brahman plus Maya makes, or that is Ishvara creates, etc., that I don't understand. Several issues are there. So Vidyaranya wants to make an analysis of Maya. This is one of the rare area of Pancadasi which you won't find at other places. That I have already told you when we discussed in chapter 2. Right? This topic Maya has come in chapter 2 also. At that time also I told you such a elaborate discussion on Maya you won't find in other Vedantic text. And Vidyaranya touches that topic. That is another unique feature of this Pancadasi. And generally it's a Ishvara's discussion. But when you discuss Ishvara, then definitely Maya discussion also will come. And so as a part of that, here also, now since we have started with the Ishvara's discussion, and then Maya discussion also will come, and that topic will go up to 151. So verse 125 to 151, 27 verses Vidyaranya dedicates to this topic of Maya, and ultimately to say that it is not there. Right? To say, he dedicates 27 verses in order to prove that such a thing called Maya is not there. Anyway, so, it is very elaborately discussed here. What is Maya? Vidyaranya says, Vidyaranya basically quotes one Upanishad first. Let us discuss about that. He quotes one Upanishad where a little bit discussion on Maya is there. And the popular 10 Upanishads where we have our principal Upanishad, we call it principal Upanishad, where this Maya is not much elaborately discussed and defined in the Shruti. Only we are extracting, but explicitly you won't find a Maya word. But there is one Upanishad which deals with Maya and little more elaborately. And that is called Nrsimha Uttara Tapaniya Upanishad. And for that you will find a word, Tapaniye. Tapaniye. So word Tapaniya means Nrsimha Uttara Tapaniya Upanishad. You see, actually it has two parts. Nrsimha Purva Tapaniya Upanishad and Nrsimha Uttara Tapaniya Upanishad. So, Nrsimha Uttara Purva Tapaniya Upanishad, there is not much commentary. But Nrsimha Uttara Tapaniya Upanishad, commentary is available on the name of Shankaracharya's Bhashyam. And it is widely accepted as a Shankaracharya's Bhashyam, and that is this Nrsimha Uttara Tapaniya Upanishad. So, Vidyaranya refers to this Upanishad briefly as a Tapaniya. Tapaniya, you will find the word, that Tapaniya word in the verse. And so in this Tapaniya Upanishad, there is a discussion on Maya. Very beautiful discussion. And so Maya is defined as what in this Upanishad? Iyam Maya Tamo Rupa Bhavati. Iyam Maya is of the nature of Tamo Rupa, Tamas, darkness. Brahman is of the nature of light, right? We discussed in Mundaka also. Consciousness is called light, and this Maya is called darkness. And so Maya iyam tamo rupa. How do you know that it is tamo rupa, it is darkness? Well, tapaniye tad iranat. Iranat. Iranam means it is stated. Kathanat. So tapaniye, in that Nrsimha Uttara Tapaniya Upanishad, this thing has been told that Maya is basically tamo rupa. And what is the mantra number? Actually, that has been told even in the footnote also. Section number 9. There, this discussion is there in Uttara Tapaniya Upanishad. Each section is nothing but a long mantra. So that section means we thought it is what, but each section is a long mantra. That is in Uttara Tapaniya Upanishad. In the 9th section, you will find this particular portion regarding discussion on Maya. Okay, how do you recognize this Maya? Upanishad, this Uttara Tapaniya Upanishad says Maya is basically directly experienced. We have not to prove Maya. Maya is experienced by everyone. And so experienceable by everyone. So you don't have to ask for the proof. And but it is directly experienceable by everyone. So Shrutihi Swayam Tatra Anubhuti Manam Pratijagnya. Anubhuti means basically our own direct experience. Anubhuti means Anubhava. Means our own direct experience, and Manam means a Pramanam. Pramanam means proof for the existence. So Tatra means Maya Vishay. With regards to Maya, Anubhutihi Manam. Our own direct experience is a proof for the existence of a Maya. That's what it says. So Shrutihi Swayam Pratijagnire. So Shruti itself tells this. It means what? Everyone in this creation is experiencing Maya all the time. All the time. And so whatever, that means what? Whatever you experience is Maya only. And what other proof then you want? So if you open your eyes, what you experience is a Maya. If you close your eyes, basically what you experience is a Maya. And therefore, Anubhutihi Pramanam Pratijagnya. So Shruti Swayam Shruti itself gives this Pramana. Proof for the existence that your own experience, either you close the eyes or you open the eyes. Either you are in a waking state, either you are in a deep sleep state, any state, Maya is experienced by you all the time. Very beautiful portion. And that's systematically Vidyaranya now explains that. Let's read verse number 126. Jadam mohatmakam tachet Yanubhavayati Shrutihi Abalagopam Spashtatvad Anantyam Tasya Sabravit. So, what Upanishad, this Uttara Tapaniya Upanishad says is, the entire Jada Prapancha outside is a condensed form of Maya. What you experience, this waking world, is nothing but a condensed form of a Maya. So Maya itself has crystallized in the form of these names and forms. So Jada Prapancha. And Jada means inert. And inert means insentient. Insentient means which is not conscious. Achit. Jada, our explanation for Jada is Achit. Insentient. Not conscious. And so Chit is Brahman, right? And so Achit is this Maya. So the world is insentient, and this and therefore then this Jada Prapancha is basically a Maya. And so everything you experience is Maya only here. So when you talk about, let's try to understand that. When you talk about like a clip experience, how do you talk about this clip? So you say, I have got a clip experience. I have got a clip experience. Now clip experience has two parts. One is a clip part and second is the experience part. And so whenever you are talking about the clip experience, actually there is a clip part and the experience part, which is sentient and which is insentient. You are able to tell me very easily, right? So the clip part is inert part, right? And you say, clip knowledge, clip experience, etc. That is a Chetanamsha. That is Brahman. So, you say, when you talk about this clip, that I have a clip experience, Means one thing is clip and second is an experience. So the clip part, which is achetanam, is a Maya. And experience or knowing, etc., well, that is chetanam, that is Brahman. So whenever Namarupa Prapancha is there, he says, Jadam tat iti shrutihi anubhavayati. So, I mean, the shrutihi, this Upanishad or Veda in general, help us experiencing Maya in the form of a Jada Prapancha. Anubhavati means to experience. Anubhavayati means to make you experience. So, Veda basically helps us in making us experience of this Maya in the form of Jada Prapancha. You are experiencing Jada Prapancha, but that is Maya that is told by Shruti. And so it just points out that way. So Jadam is nothing but this condensed Maya. And when Pralayam etc. comes, then this world, which is Jadam, which is this visible Maya, that becomes invisible. And so, Pralaya Kale invisible Maya, Srushti Kale visible Prapancha. That is the same thing. So, condensed Maya is a Prapancha, uncondensed Prapancha is a Maya. We have discussed, of course, before also. We said manifest, this Maya becomes manifest is a world, and world becomes unmanifest, that is Maya. That we have said like that. It's the same thing here. So anyway, but here Shruti says whatever you experience is all Jadam. And that Namarupa Jada Prapancha is this Maya. So that, okay, that is outside. But you said when you close the eyes also you experience Maya. Well, when I open the eyes, I experience the world. And all names and forms. And all that is Jadam. And that is Maya. Okay, I understood. All names and forms, that is Jadam. It is all condensed form of Maya. I understood. Manifest form of a Maya. I understood. But when I close the eyes, still I experience Maya? Yeah, still you experience Maya. So when you close your eyes, basically, and you stop your all sensory functions, because otherwise there will be, if that is not there, if you close eyes and other sensory functions are not there, then you will have another world inside, that projected world. And all this a projected world which you experience inside also, that is also Maya. More than that, suppose a mental function also is not there, sensory function also is not there, then you experience what? Then you experience total blankness, total darkness, total ignorance. Vidyaranya and Upanishad points out this internal ignorance or darkness experienced by you is also Maya. Right? Is also Maya. So externally it is experienced as a Jada Padartha, internally it is experienced as a ignorance or darkness. So in sleep especially, in sleep what do we experience? That is ignorance or a darkness, and that is also Maya. And when you wake up and experience the outer world, that is also condensed form of Maya. So that has been told here. So external world is a Maya, condensed form of Maya, and internally also that is Maya. And Vidyaranya uses the word mohaha. Mohaha or ajnanam inside during the deep sleep state, which is experienced by you, is also Maya. So taccha iti shrutihi anubhavayati. So whatever you experience outside and you experience inside, anything experienced by you is Maya. And then what is Brahman? That is you who is asking a question. Okay. And so one who is conscious of this external Jada Prapancha, or one who is conscious of this internal darkness, is this consciousness. That is Brahman. That is you. So, and therefore, further it is going to discuss that so for experiencing Maya, what effort is required? No effort is required, because you are experiencing all the time in all the states. So Vidyaranya says everyone is experiencing Maya all the time. So Anubhuti, it has been told here, So Maya cha iyam tamorupa tapaniye tadinanat anubhutim tatramanam. Manam pramanam. Proof for the existence of Maya is Anubhutim. Anubhavaha, our own Anubhava, our own direct experience of various states is pramanam for that. And therefore, if it is experienceable by everyone, that's how it says. He says here, Abala Gopa Spashtatvad, this outside Maya and inside Maya is clearly experienced by everyone, up to Abala Gopa. So Balam is a small child, and Gopa means a cowherd boy, means a illiterate person. So either a cowherd boy or a child, anyone, everyone is experiencing this a Maya only. And so Abala Gopa means up to. Up to means all, you have to include them also. Means everyone. So, Spashtatva means Maya is very, very clear to everyone. No proof is required. And so, Sa Abravit, Sa means this Shruti, Tapaniya Upanishad, declares Tasya Anantyam. So, Shruti declares this all pervading nature of Maya, because not Brahman. We are not discussing right now Brahman. So, Shruti says, well, Maya is all pervading. And and so this experience universe is Maya, and therefore it is all pervading. It is a manifest form of Maya, or whether when person sleeps, then the whole world resolves. So, and person experience darkness, ignorance, that is unmanifest form of Maya. Ultimately, or manifest form or unmanifest form, well, basically we are experiencing Maya all the time. It is experienced by everyone, etc. Then what happens? Well, we have to wait for 24 hours. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.